Hey, what's going on, everybody? And thanks for joining us again. We're live and we're back in a brand new year. So welcome back to the Rethink Tank Live. New year, same questionable sanity. This is our first episode of 2026, which means the calendar flipped, nobody learned anything, and the world somehow managed to get even weirder in the short period we were gone. Tonight, we're jumping straight into the deep end. We're talking about Venezuela finding a new groove after Trump administration removes Nicolas Maduro. Then we're heading to France, where Brigitte Macron somehow had 10 French citizens convicted for bullying him with the truth, which feels very on brand for modern Europe. And because it wouldn't be a proper return episode without completely derailing ourselves, we're finishing the night by falling headfirst down the internet's most dangerous pastime, a round of Down the Wiki hole. So buckle up, shake off the hangover of 2025, and let's start off the new year the only way we know how, by questioning everything and trusting nothing. What better way to start off the year than just rustling some feathers and getting into the nitty gritty? Because while we're gone, of course, the world needs to shake itself on its head. Venezuela's new groove. Nice. Trump removes Nicolas Maduro.
Nice title.
Right? Hey,
I like it.
Cusco. So here's a headline that sounded straight out of the Cold War reboot, but it actually happened. The U.S. military carried out a dramatic operation in Venezuela, captured Nicolas Maduro and his wife, and brought them to New York to face charges, including narco-terrorism and weapons offenses. President Trump didn't tiptoe around it. He called it a stunning display of American might and announced that Washington would oversee Venezuela's transition, and at least until what he called a safe, proper, and judicious handoff could happen. You saw this play out in real time online. Some Venezuelan communities cheered openly, celebrating what they see as liberation from decades of authoritarian rule. Meanwhile, on the left, especially in Western cultural bubbles, the reaction was something else entirely. Over at so-called no-fascist rallies, there were white liberal women defending a real dictator, Maduro, while condemning the U.S. intervention. That's exactly the kind of upside-down optics that makes this whole moment feel like a fever dream. And yes, people have valid reasons for being skeptical about especially this foreign intervention. But defending a man whose tenure was marked by corruption, repression, humanitarian collapse, and economic ruin, not to mention the list of humanitarian rights violations, folks were literally chanting anti-intervention slogans while waving banners for Maduro. It's surreal. On its face, seeing Venezuelans hopeful about this moment, people who truly lived under grinding hardship, is emotionally powerful. But here's the catch. The enthusiasm for the overthrow of Maduro isn't filtering through the rest of the electorate with the same clarity. Across the board, especially among voters who feel let down by this administration domestically, the reaction isn't, yay, liberation. It's, why did it take so long, and why aren't you fixing things here first? Polling in recent months showed that most American voters didn't believe foreign military actions like strikes in the Caribbean or Venezuela's removal should be a top national priority. And that's where this gets complicated. Yes, there is a humanitarian angle to removing a dictator whose government was under investigation for crimes against humanity. but the timing and the tone coming after years where this same administration has not delivered on many of its core domestic promises means that the normal rally around the flag support you could have otherwise expected just isn't there. Instead, you get a mix of Venezuelans who feel freed, international legal experts warning about the precedent that this sets. You got to listen to those experts, I tell you. And a home front that wonders why the U.S. intervenes abroad when it often feels like it's failing at home. So yes, it's an impressive display of military might. It's geopolitical dramatic. And the Venezuelans who suffered under Maduro, to them, it might feel like a moment of hope. But for many Americans, it feels like another tangled chapter in a foreign policy dominated by spectacle instead of substance. The kind of action that looks strong, but whose long-term impact is still unclear and whose domestic reception is lukewarm at best. This isn't just a story about Venezuela anymore. It's a story about priorities, perception, and what people around the world see when they look at American power today. So, I've done a lot to display the story and present it to you, but I think the best people suited to deliver you this message are the people upset themselves. They seem to have the most handle on this situation. So first, let's kick it get in your time machine and kick it way back to when the neurons were truly firing in the noggin of a Biden.
Let's go after the drug lords where they live with an international strike force. There must be no safe haven for these narco-terrorists, and they must know it.
Woo! Speaking logic. The guy knows what he's talking about.
Guy was onto something.
You know who's really onto something? Who would have thought I'd be saying this? 2020, Chuck Schumer.
It's about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. Maybe the best metaphor was his claim to bring democracy to Venezuela. There was a big policy there.
He's criticizing Trump, by the way.
Obviously.
If the policy was working, Juan Guaido wouldn't be in the balcony here. He'd be in Venezuela. He'd be sitting in the president's palace, or at least waging a fight to win. He's here. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break.
Give us a break.
He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime.
Right, get in there and
Maduro
get that guy.
is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began.
Get him! Get him! You know who also was pretty enraged? Rashawn Malimbo, our French press secretary. She had it all figured out back in the day. Okay. Remember her? Bring her out!
Yes. To Venezuela, where Maduro once again demonstrated his complete disregard for democratic norms and proceeded with his illegitimate inauguration. As President Biden emphasized during his meeting with President-elect Edmundo Gonzalez Urrutia on Monday, January 6th, we believe that it is essential that the will of the Venezuelan people is respected. In coordination with our partners, we've given Maduro and his representatives every opportunity to restore democracy, but they haven't. So today we are building on all of our previous actions and taking further major actions. We announced new sanctions on key Maduro-aligned officials as a part of our efforts to hold them accountable. We also increased the reward amount to $25 million for Nicolas Maduro and his so-called Minister of Interior as part of the Department of State's Narcotics Rewards program. Only the second and third to have the largest amount allowed. It is important to note that we are taking these actions alongside similar actions taken by Canada, the European Union, the United Kingdom, to demonstrate a message of solidarity.
I know a boy painting. He's a young chap working his hardest. Little crack motivation, but he's trying his best.
Solidarity with the Venezuelan people and further elevate international efforts to maintain pressure on Maduro and his representatives. Today, Maduro finds himself more alone than ever, with few friends in the region and in the world.
Oh, I know 6 buddies that are dropping in about a year.
The sanctions that the administration is putting on Venezuela in its final 10 days. Are you in discussions with the incoming administration about policy towards Venezuela, and are you expecting those sanctions to hold once Trump does take office?
And so, look, I can't speak to what the next administration is going to do or not do. What I can say is, I believe Jake Sullivan talked about this when the National
This must have been one of the
Security
last things he
Advisor
did
talked.
besides pardoning his son.
Literally right before he left was like, you can't get Dr. Fauci. And I'm raising the bond on this guy.
You can go get this guy if you want.
You know what? Yeah, I want the
All of
bounty a
sudden it
little
hit
bit
me,
more.
Right when he said that, I was like, wait a minute. When was this? Like January 10th?
Here's the question. If the Biden administration puts a bounty out that the Trump administration delivers on, who pays that bounty?
Hunter.
Pay him.
You just bought a new contract.
You know, I think we've seen and heard enough. I mean, most of her.
It's just a date. It's the date on that video that I couldn't get past. I was like, January 25. Literally, it's been a year. Exactly.
Right.
It very well could have been a year from when that was said. That very well could have been on January 3rd. She said that. I don't know, but it's like.
It said January 10th, 25 up at the top.
I was actually right. I said January
Wait,
10th.
you didn't see? Oh, I thought that's what. Yeah, literally
I saw
January 10th.
2025. So
Yeah,
I was like,
but
oh, well,
right in the top left corner had January 10th.
Oh,
And
okay.
so literally you are
It
less
said
than a
January
year.
10th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's less
so
than
in
a
less
year
than a
after
year,
the fact.
they sanctioned for something like this to happen. And by the way, I don't know. Did it say dead or alive?
And Trump's like, I got him.
They
In
were
a
like,
silver
oh, it said
platter.
dead. Sorry, you don't get
We
the money.
played Uno on the way here. I reversed him the whole time.
It's great. It's a bizarro world.
Yes. So here's what's great about. I mean, it's got to be fun living in the Delulu world of being a Democrat, because the common thing I always declare, they get to have their cake and eat it too. They are literally everything they believe and spouse is a logical contradiction to something else they believe and spouse. So here's the beauty of it. I get to use their words to, diminish their words. And it's a perfect cyclical war. I get to play with them every time we get in this culture war. So that all being considered, here they don't have many people that try valiantly to espouse the lack of logic position they carry. And one that does it the most and fails greatly, actually profoundly at our benefit, is its dean. So I want to give some Venezuelan facts paralleled with Dean. And for those of you who don't know who it is, you'll recognize him.
President Donald Trump has invaded Venezuela, bombed their capital.
That's who he is.
Okay.
You don't know who he is, who his name is. You know him as that kid.
When I saw the face, when you said
Yep.
Dean, I was like,
That's
it's
what I was
probably
like.
some white kid.
Bingo. No, it's Jamal, named Dean.
The President Donald Trump has invaded Venezuela, bombed their capital, overthrown their government by abducting their president.
Venezuelan here. Maduro wasn't abducted. Maduro was captured. He wasn't the Venezuelan president. He was a fugitive. He stole elections in 2013, 2018, and 2024. But even worse, he's a narco-terrorist, an indicted drug trafficker. Maduro was formally charged by a U.S. federal grand jury in the Southern District of New York in March 2020. I mean, there's been a U.S. reward for his capture since 2020, and he was never removed by the Biden administration. So it's actually very clear. Maduro is not a president. He wasn't abducted, and his government is just a cartel.
I also find it incredibly important for you to understand that the president Trump abducted, Maduro, was a horrendous man and a terrible leader for Venezuela and all Venezuelans.
What a strong statement. He was more than just a terrible leader. And by the way, he also caused harm to the United States. Because let's not forget that he flooded the United States with drugs, expanded Tren de Aragua, a criminal organization, and ultimately, he basically operated Venezuela as a criminal organization, enemy to the United States.
Anybody that says ultimately clearly has authority on this.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I trust him.
I trust him. So what do you got here? You've got a story of, well, you know what, actually, before we get into it itself, one last one.
I need to see all the takes.
The last one I have here is talking about how there is just this family network, familial network of drug running.
Nicolas Maduro's nephews were captured by the DEA in Haiti with kilos of cocaine. They were
What?
brought here. They went to trial. They were
This is
declared
terrible.
guilty, and then Biden pardoned them. And sent
Oh,
them
of
back.
course.
What?
Oh yeah, this happened a few years ago
What?
under Biden. It was all part of an exchange
Let me pretend.
for American prisoners. And he
Well,
released
next time
the
he put a
nephews,
$25 million bounty
of
on
the
him.
dictator. I mean, this is how high up it is. I mean,
Literally, they walked into they go down to the Oval Office into the Situation Room, and Hunter's like, "Dad, what?" And literally, it's the narco terrorist like, "He's pure, he's the best,
He's the good.
And Biden's like, "Listen, I'm a part of you. Get out of here." Slapped him on the wrist. Get your pardon.
Probably gave him a sucker on the way out.
Get and a sticker like the doctor's office. And then he's like, "Hey, Raggedy Ann, get out there. Go out there and tell them, raise the bounty. If I find them, I'm gonna even more money." Little do they know I just had him.
It's great. It's great.
how close do you want to get? It's his own family. So that is why they do it, because it's a big source of revenue. It's a way to create a clientele of people in power that have the weapons to remain in power.
That dude's face.
Well,
Oh shit! My narrative went out the door.
and I thought they were the good guys.
You think Hunter had him on speed dial?
All I know is it's all okay. We know it. I'm going to say it. You're going to go, yeah. Same old, same old. We know it's all political theater. When a guy can go, elect me, looking good at 35, young politician, we need to go after global drug trafficking, and we need to get them where they're at. Let's stop fighting the drug war here. Let's fight the drug war where they're at. Cut to, I had them. I pardoned them. Me? Whoopsie. Was that me? Actually, it was the flipping auto pen. They had it again. The auto pen's out here just doing some crazy shit again.
It's political theater in such a fun way, though. Way to start the new year with a bang. I hadn't seen the video of January 10th from last year, where seeing that, it blew my mind when I saw 2025 January. I was like, was this like a week before he took office? They were like, the guy you're going to get literally in a year from now, we're putting a bounty on his head, but how goddamn dare you do it? It's so weird. It's the disingenuous reasons for being outraged about it rather than the actual kind of discussions about why you might have stipulations with the United States doing things like this still while we have issues here obviously going on. But then you watch video on video on video of just hypocrisy, and that's like the big loud outrage rather than the actual like intellectual conversation about foreign interference.
Right.
And that's all you see though. Like that's all you see all throughout social media is just the virtue signaling outrage rather than being like, all right, we kind of do get why we did this. It's great for them. It's great for the Venezuelan people. They're all thrilled. And I would be too. Why wouldn't you be? But then when you see all the legitimate mainstream outrage from one side to the legitimate mainstream kind of support from the other side, and then there's us in the middle kind of actually having the conversation about it, that's just muddled and muted.
Well, and what makes it muddled is, I'm a non-interventionalist, and
you're a libertarian at heart. Like,
yeah,
it's a true libertarian view.
Exactly. And that kind of is the bedrock of all of these positions. However, I've never been able to fully convict myself to that party, because to be a world power, but to be the world power, you have to have an arm of that government doing espionage, intelligence, and
in some ways a show of force.
Well, but even just like control. Mm-hmm. Like if you're going to be the police of the recess, the playground, like you need to have control and power over the playground.
Oh, you had that great analogy a couple days ago, or metaphor a couple days ago about the bully on the recess.
What's that?
You were saying that everybody has a cookie at recess to all be fair, but occasionally the bully just has to go up to one of the kids and grab it and just be like, I still can't do that.
Yeah, just to remind you, it can be. So the sad part is I recognize when you see, like, keeping with that analogy, you're in a playground, you're trying to keep the peace. The key is to make sure really everybody's got a cookie, and you let the people that are a little bit stronger get a little bit more because they can, but you keep it relative so we keep a piece.
Everybody gets a piece of the pie.
When you start seeing a corner of them start colluding, conspiring, and, trying to gain traction to take, like an Animal Farm situation, take over this let's say global arena of peace, then I would respect the authority keeping that peace, finding a purpose, a reason, a justification to intervene with probably at least some sort of equal force, if not a little bit greater force. So you sit back and you go with the libertarian rule of logic. Okay, I'll have to concede that sometimes you got to let them, the omnis, them do it.
Tyrion Lannister.
The problem is the them is untrustworthy now more than ever. It's not to say that in 1940, these agencies that were in the shadow government that's controlling us, not to say they weren't less evil. In fact, they probably were more evil to a certain degree. But we are more aware of it now than ever before. Right. And it makes it impossible to go, I can't get excited about you. When I lived in a world where I flex my muscle and take a cookie at recess just to keep peace and remind everybody who's boss and again, keep a peace. I only sit idle and allow for that, excite for that in a world where I can trust you.
Right.
And the problem is I can't trust this administration more than any. I feel the most backstabbed now more than I think I knew what I was getting with Biden. It was a dead guy running for president from his basement, interviewed by one great political scientist, Cardi B. I knew exactly what we got. And so when it turned to be a puppet sham, I was like, well, of course, we fucking brought in Kermit. What else did we expect? That's a hand up Cloth's ass. But here, I actually thought we were sharing a cognitive understanding. I go on the stage, I call the assholes. The spade is a spade, and we're going to drain this swamp. And you just made it swampier, taking more of our money, giving it to the fact that, dude, I almost made this show longer because it piggybacks perfectly. It's an important subject, and I'm going to find a way to talk about it. But this House Bill 188 in Ohio is probably the most vile thing I've ever seen. I wish we could talk about it more, but it's about a certain group of people that acknowledging the truth of them. And you know what? Maybe that is the literal theme of today's episode, because the philosophical foundation and factual logic I'm going to put to my position comes really through with the first lady man of France. And there is an extreme necessity to defend truth. And when you allow the state to make truth illegal, we truly have a problem. So when I sit in Ohio and I see a House bill get passed by the House of Representatives, the House of elected officials that are supposed to be representing the will of Ohio, and they are selling Ohio to God's chosen people, and even just acknowledging it makes me antiseptic, and now I need to go to jail.
Yeah, lock them up. Lock them up. They're on the way.
We were listening to you.
We heard you were having fun in here.
No, seriously, cut to Inglourious Bastards. I'm under the floorboards now. How the turntables have turned.
Yeah. He's asking me the question. And I just see your hand just reaches over the table and grabs your glass.
So, keeping it grounded in this story.
Yes.
A good transition to this, because let's talk about how kind of cool it is. You know, I'm a guy. What's always on the guy's mind? The guys talk about Rome. This is that, guys. When 6 guys or 8 guys, I can't remember.
Like 6, 7 guys.
6, 7, somewhere in there, 6 or 7, drop in. I think 40 got casualties. None of them us.
Supposedly, we didn't even get shot back at.
You know what's fantastic?
This is one of the weirdest
This
things
guy,
ever.
Maduro, like, this is a literal movie scene. You will see this be made. The fact that he was in his situation room, struggling to lock, they were like locking the door, and they just like, he was this close to surviving the night and just busted through the door. Gotcha. Went through 40 on our way. Come with us.
I gotta be honest. Again, there's a much grander discussion to this whole thing, but talking about the mission itself might be the most based military thing ever done.
Dude
in
is
history.
just being perp walked in his sweats, like his PJs.
Dude, I'm going as that for Halloween. I saved that photo. I will be come back to this show in October. I'm gonna be dressed like Maduro during his perp walk. I swear to God, I'm gonna grow out my mustache more, and I'm gonna do it. I gotta do it. It looks so funny. He's up there with his Coke. He's just like, I'm good. I'm good. It is the most bait. Like, I played a lot of shooters in my life, a lot of video games, Call of Duty missions. Black Ops was great. Remember what the numbers, Mason? What do they mean?
The numbers.
This is the coolest thing military-wise I think I've ever heard. And don't kid yourself, every other main power in this world is going, how did they do it?
So we will talk about the world powers. That's a big piece. But I do want to piggyback off of, it is funny to think about how the people that are upset, the whole world cheered when Obama did the same exact thing. Same exact thing.
To 2 people, right?
Well, and what's funny is he killed them.
Oh yeah, that's the other part of this.
And then was just like, trust me, I dumped him in the ocean. He's not my brother. You're not allowed to see my birth certificate. Trust me, bro. He's not in a different sand mountain now. I dumped him in the ocean. And literally, Trump's like, I got him.
There is
in my hand.
There is a literal courtroom drawing of the fucker. Sorry, but like, there is.
You can also look at the photo, and he's literally doing a Freemason triangle in the painting. It's a painting rendering of him just nothing to see here.
Oh boy, the internet probably saw that one, ran wild with that photo.
Why would I know about it? Anyway, let's talk about how the world reacted to this. All of the world leaders and their opinions. First, let's see our British Prime Minister here. The UK has a long supported and transition of power in Venezuela. We regarded Maduro as an illegitimate president, and we shed no tears about the end of his regime, which seems to be
accent, by the way, Alex, love it.
No, yeah, it was pretty good.
Which we all have to agree is pretty much the logical consensus here for most people.
It's the simplest conclusion to take. The guy sucked. It was going to happen eventually. No, it took 17 minutes. I wish they just said that, but no, good take, whatever his name is.
Now here's the best, if there's any take I want, it's the victim of the 14-year-old child victim, President Emmanuel Macron. We'll get to him. There's enough to be said about him in the later half hour.
Didn't his husband hit him?
Yeah, right in front of everybody. A good old slapperoo.
We moved back past that real quick.
First lady, man, really gave her a smack. I should have had that ready for today's episode. That's how goldfish syndrome. There's so much coming at us. I totally even forgot about that, which is what they're banking on. So Emmanuel said, the Venezuelan people are today rid of Nicolas Maduro's dictatorship and can only rejoice by seizing his power. I'm trying not to go Asian on this thing. It's slowly changing. By seizing power and trampling on fundamental freedoms, Nicolas Maduro gravely undermined the dignity of his own people.
You slowly went from Sacre Bleu to Mama Hupinapini. Ridiculous. I saw the transition halfway through.
Yeah.
The instant you hit freedoms, China glued your door shut. It was like, what freedoms?
Well, maybe I could keep that in my back pocket for later. Getting to the next one. So wait, what's interesting is making note of the fact that Emmanuel Macron was in support as well. And this is a extremely liberal and Democrat like political figure. The government of Mexico. Oh, the Mexican president who's kissed the wall before. Hello, my government of Mexico strongly condemns and rejects the military actions carried out unilaterally in the last few years by the armed forces of the United States of America. I didn't do that.
The Mexican president shine bomb.
Yeah.
I don't mean that.
Shine bomb.
I'm just saying.
Is not a punchline. Don't laugh at it.
Why would she be pissed? Well, I mean, cartel. Sorry.
Yeah, well, she's like, now we've lost half of our business, man.
She's probably sleeping with him.
Bring him back.
I've watched Narcos. I know how they are.
I've watched Narcos. Here we go.
Who's this guy?
Cuban president. Shocker, brother, you're next. He's pissed.
He got a bigger lock. He got a second tour.
Cuba denounces and urgently demands the reaction of the international community against the criminal attack by the U.S. on Venezuela. And they're only going to get more criminal. It's now cut to Dave Franco in a noose. First time.
Yeah.
Welcome, brah.
The Cuban president's pissed. I mean, like,
I would hope.
All I can think of the interview with Cuba and Venezuela is same, but different.
Well, they're about to find out why.
Yeah, I know. They're about to figure out.
Speaking of God's chosen in a place they weren't from, let's go to Argentina. Freedom advances. Long live freedom, damn it. He knows how to play his part loudly.
Based.
Great WWE draft here. Like for the show, no one was better. Yeah. And Trump really should be threatened by his hair competition.
I was like, look at his sideburns.
Trump can't do that.
He gave up on the mutton chops.
Boy, does he have a wave on top, though. It looks like it's blowing off and very much there at the same time.
He looks like Walton Goggins, a little wired.
Oh, damn it!
Oh my God, he went to the space center, the science center, and grabbed the little ball.
No.
That's who he gets ready for the day.
He looks like a Beatle who didn't change his haircut and just stuck with it since the 60s.
Facts.
And he looks like a rejected Beatle.
And the best for last, also should be worried. I get it. China. Ring-a-ding-a-ding-ding-ding-ding. Whoop.
China. There people were there when this happened.
China.
That's enough China. China is deeply shocked and strongly condemns the U.S.'s blatant use of force against the sovereign state and action against its president.
That country is so pissed off they're incapable of doing what we did.
They're also pissed that they can't stop us.
No.
It's one of those like, please stop.
They literally went to Ruth's Chris with him and then found out 3 hours later he got taken by us. Well, they were all still there. And Trump just essentially went.
Wait, China was there?
Yeah, their delegates were there that day because they were trying to talk to them about the oil. And then probably was at a steakhouse with them. 3 hours later, Trump walks into brunch. I guess you're talking to me now.
Dude, it is the exact metaphor of chess versus checkers. China has been playing this weird game in Africa that I have been low-key acutely worried about because they're
making some moves.
That's it. And they're setting up like they're working with Russia. That's not good for us. And they're building North Korea, building these alliances now with the Middle East and the Saudis to try to remove the petrodollar and remove American dominance from the oil trade. This is like the last domino. Right now, it's like they almost got it to 50-50. It's like, oh, this could go either way. And if they would have taken this leap and secured Venezuela's commitment to leave the petrodollar, it would have drastically turned the tables.
Mm-hmm.
So China's like sitting there like, oh my God, we're there. Like, checkmate. He's like, I got the king.
And then immediately Trump walks into brunch. I guess I got like it really no, but they were there. They were like speaking with them that day about, I'm assuming this.
Yes.
And then I looked into it. Wow. China has like 25 billion barrels in their reserve, and Venezuela itself has like 300 billion.
Oh yeah,
like it's some ridiculous
number.
They
have the most by light years.
And then within all the dictator had to be was not an asshole, and this doesn't happen.
Really, I wish if I could have had another half hour, there would have been so much more media for today. Another video is him like 8 months ago, because mind you, Maria Corina Machado won democratically the election to be president, and he was just like, I'm not leaving. And so like 9 months ago, he's like, come get me, big dog. And it is the cockiest video ever. I must have seen it like 20 times. Yep. He's like, like just hamming it up.
Eating food too, right?
Yeah.
Like the whole country's starving and he's just eating filet mignon.
Straight up the joke. Maybe not on this podcast, but others that have entertainment have been saying forever that the joke of Venezuela is that they're fighting over chicken bones. Like they don't even get the meaty, delicious chicken wang. It's you get the bones, and they're fighting for them. That's how desperate they are. And he's sitting there, hot dog in hand. Come get me. And then literally in his PJs, we're going on a trip on a favorite rocket ship. You're going to America. Zooming through the skies. You're not an Einstein. Come with us. And they just zip.
It's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Someone literally tweeted one thing. It was the perfect thing I could have been tweeted about an event like this. Simply put, I didn't know we could do that.
Neither did half of the world. Half of these leaders were like, okay, they can do this.
The craziest part is I went to bed that night, a little bit after midnight. I think it was 12:30 our time on Eastern time. And I saw the report saying Trump had bombed Venezuela. They were starting their attack, which we've kind of briefly I don't think touched it on this show, but privately we've mentioned, hey, they're being very not so subtle about this.
Yes, right.
This is a conflict that is on the horizon.
Yeah, and no, we have talked about it because it's them and Somalis, and they're just blowing. Here's what they do, and this happened in Vietnam. We went in Vietnam and we kept antagonizing them, and we're like, hit us, hit us, hit us, hit us, hit us. And Vietnam's like, you're America.
I'm not touching you. I'm not touching
you. We
you.
were literally poke, 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 hit the bear. Poke, poke, hit us, poke. And they're like, you're America. We will never. And so we just pulled in the Gulf of Tonkin warship and we blew it up. And we're like, they blew us up. We got to go kill them all. And we went in. When you look at this situation, you could never convince me this had anything to do with drugs.
No,
because
that's the intellectual part of the conversation.
Right.
I touched on where we get it. It's deeper than just the drug trade, because there's so many more other factors regarding the drug trade that the dictator in Argentina or Venezuela, excuse me, that guy too, probably. But
he's using him. He's the purchaser.
The dictator in Venezuela is just causing issues and has been caused. He was a perfect scapegoat for something like this to happen.
Well, no. So what I think was happening is you have these. What does a drug runner in a fish boat have to do with Machado? Or not Machado, Maduro. That's the good one, right? As I'm told. So Maduro, Trump, Biden, Obama, and really, we're going to get to him too, especially someone like Marco Rubio, who's been salivating over, we need to get rid of him. Every regime has been, we need to get rid of him, but nobody has been willing to take the actual leap because of the global ramifications. This is like Ukraine. But this is our half of the world's Ukraine.
This really feels like our Ukraine.
Well, because of the resources and global implications, it's one of those. It's actually little bit more, and it's hard to speak in such juvenile terms, but in many ways, it's a more valuable version of Ukraine. And so we've always wanted to go in there, but haven't had the ability or game plan. Right. And
just to simply put, an excuse to do it.
So we spent the last 8 months blowing up nobodies in fishing boats, being like, hey, we're trying to stop fentanyl.
Riling up the people.
But while there's something else you and I have been totally in agreement on, it's if you actually wanted to address the drug trade, the person that's poisoning us and this fentanyl epidemic that's like on war with America is coming from
China.
Good call.
China.
And if your real war is with China,
right,
doing anything with Venezuela's running drug boats has no impact on Detroit's or go to
Flint.
Oregon, Flint,
Portland,
any of these struggling zombified cities with fentanyl poisons, they're going to remain unimpacted. Right. So this wasn't to have an effect on that, which is the story. What it was to keep pushing and be like, Machado, do something. Maduro, do something. She got the Nobel Peace Prize. Maduro, do something. And he wasn't willing to.
No.
Because he knew the ramifications. He was a chained dog that barked his bark, but was never really going to bite. And
I saw a video of their war room like 2-3 weeks ago, and they look like they bought all their outfits off of Temu. It was really bad. And then it pans over to one of the guys next to the general, and he's just like shitting his pants at the prospect. Again, that's the thing. Back to where I was going. Yeah. I go to bed at midnight. I wake up 7-8 hours later, got a good night's sleep in. First notification I see, United States has captured President Maduro. He's already on the way back. Genuinely probably reread that headline 5 or 6 times before it really processed in my head. It's done. It's done. Like, we're not, again, I've been on here before. You and I know you've been on here before. I myself have been on here before saying I do not want legitimate boots on the ground invasion in any other country. It's done. And we put 6-7 hilljacks in a plane, a helicopter, grab the man. You could watch the Fellowship in the Ring by the time this whole conflict was done. It's one of the most insane things I ever woke up to.
I also want to address the boots on the ground point. Trump gets asked, so, you're claiming that the United States is going to remain in control of Venezuela as they, oversee the transition of power. How do you intend to do that? Will you be putting boots on the ground? And Trump's response was, no. We had boots on the ground. And it was just like, no. We touched 15 minutes and then we're out. There's no one left. They know what our presence is there through shadow.
It's really a great line. For as much as we kind of can hate the asshole, he is good. I'm saying what I didn't say about all women, just Rosie O'Donnell. Like, that's what that line was. Because, again, my big thing was I don't want boots in the ground on any of these countries. I couldn't believe I woke up to, dude, he's on a plane back here. In fact, he probably could see the Statue of Liberty right now. It was insane to conceptualize. Because then I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, wait a minute. Again, for years, back to your original point, you got to kind of have that, I guess, show of force or bully moment. I think majority of the reason so many people are pissed. The left is pissed because Trump is just in charge of
Trump Ranger syndrome.
Right.
Brad Reiner had it. He was sick.
Oh, it's really good. I wasn't expecting that. But anyways, these other countries that are upset, other than the Cuban one, because he knows he's next on the chopping block. That one I get. He's scared.
This is a crime. This is a crime. Somebody do something.
That guy's legitimately scared. When he says somebody do something, you literally meant help me.
Yes.
Help me. But when you look at China, and I'm sure Putin's pissed off, the instant the cameras are off, they literally look at each other and go, how did they do that? How did they do that? They just went and grabbed them out. No fuss. Their people are cheering. You look at Putin, I want to look at him and be like, hey, man, how's Ukraine going? I'm pissed off about that, too.
Yeah.
But
just reminding you, none of those guys were our guys yet.
no,
That's
all they're using is our shit.
Right. Just remember, we're not involved yet. Just wait.
It's just
We
a
could.
weird show of force, so subtly done.
Can I piggyback off that show
Absolutely.
of force? So again, major reluctance to get excited about this whole situation. I don't want to ever shy away from broadcasting and highlighting. That is my conflicted position. Right. The implications.
Always had after something like this.
But just, I'm going to let the clip do the talking for itself.
Forget how bad Hugo Chavez was before Maduro? Well, as a matter of fact, at least people in the U.S. military last night didn't forget about Hugo Chavez. They certainly did not. They blew up his mausoleum on the way out. Blew it up. That's it. It's done.
It's done.
Yeah, we literally just blew him up.
It is insane. It's insane.
Wait, guys. They don't care enough. They're not remembering enough about Hugo Chavez. They were like, we're taking the guy and we're going to blow up that museum.
He was on the helicopter. They probably took the blindfold off him real quick and said, look, boom.
Hey,
your former boss, boom.
They're never going to build one for you because we're getting his on our way out.
And that's the thing about it is he's still alive.
Like, well, and that's part of the greatest part about this narrative is reading about the documented, audible shock of Maduro, who's like, I'm shocked I'm still alive. I thought I'd be dead by now, especially when he knows what they did to people like Gaddafi.
Oh, Gaddafi, Soleimani.
I've seen what America's done.
Right.
I'm so glad I don't have a sword up my ass.
Trump has taken out a political opposition in terms of a terrorist as Soleimani.
Yeah.
He did that in his first
Threw
term.
him right in between 2 pieces of pepperoni and a slice of mozzarella. Salami was out of here.
He did his Tesla dogs. That's how he did it. I just think of the Shane Gillis bit when he talks about it. But the difference is between when Trump did it and Obama did it, where you said maybe, we threw him in the ocean. Trump very quickly, I watched the whole footage. I saw him go down. He screamed like a dog. All those dogs went in there. It's like it's almost like too transparent. It's almost one of those things that's like, okay, we get it. You don't mean to make it turn into a mini comedy bit. With Maduro, he's in court. It's so bizarre.
Well, and they got him a court-appointed attorney,
right?
So that way he could get through his arraignment to then get his attorney. He's literally in shock, not only that he's alive, but that he is getting the full scope of the American justice system's due process.
It's so democratically done in this modern world. For as bizarre as that may sound, militaristically, this is one of the most democratically done missions in history.
You're praising it now, but in 2 years when he gets off on some sort of technicality, we're all going to be like, we should have just killed him.
Sure, I'm just talking about an in the moment thing. I don't know how the court
when Biden pardons him like his nephews, we'd be like, well, there's
Trump
that.
on the way out of the door in 3 years could pardon him. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just talking about the mission in and of itself. Again, we could stand here and talk about the ramifications of what this causes afterwards for hours and hours and have actually a legitimate conversation, not saying Orange Man bad or yay Orange Man. It's just the fact that in the year 2026, there was a literal abduction of a dictator where he's now just in court.
Yeah.
How many times in human history has that been done?
Right.
It's really weird.
Well, dude, let's keep in mind we had to invade a country not once, but twice to take down Saddam.
True.
And this time we
that's
just
fair.
waltzed in there and took him.
That's the thing. It's within one night we got this guy in essentially in a courtroom.
Yeah.
Perp walked and everything. Here he is. Boots on the ground. Not anymore. It's you can't look at the guy and say he's lying.
Right.
I've seen it all. We saw all this play out in the span of 6 hours.
Yeah.
It's really crazy.
So one person that we haven't heard yet from is Maria Corina Machado, the Nobel Peace Prize winner and the elected president of Venezuela, who you will probably see find her way into a position through this transition. But here's kind of her take.
Some people talk about invasion in Venezuela, the threat of an invasion in Venezuela, and I answered, Venezuela has been already invaded. We have the Russian agents, we have the Iranian agents, we have terrorist groups such as Hezbollah, Hamas, operating freely in accordance with the regime. We have the Colombian guerrilla, the drug cartels that have taken over 60% of our populations, and not only involving drug trafficking, but in human trafficking, in networks of prostitution. So this has turned Venezuela into the criminal hub of the Americas. And what sustained the regime is a very powerful and funded, strongly funded repression system. Where does that funds come from? Well, from drug trafficking, from the black market of oil, from arms trafficking, for human trafficking. We need to cut those flows. And once it happens and repression is weakened, it's over, because that's the only thing the regime has left, violence and terror. So we ask the international community to cut those sources, because the other regimes that support Maduro and the criminal structure are very active and had turned Venezuela into the safe haven for their operations into the rest of Latin America.
The thing I struggle with is the entire narrative has been forcefully demanding it all. Well, the problems here are through the finances and repercussions of drug trade dominating Venezuela. But we just talked about how invaluable Venezuela is simply for its resources, none of which being fentanyl. So we can acknowledge that it's extremely valuable because of oil. But the cognitive dissonance is when a politician's talking to you, they're able to convince you to forget, just remove that piece of logic. And believe me when I tell you that it's drugs and the money and symptoms surrounding its trade that's holding down Venezuela. Maduro wasn't able to do what he did, buy a military that allows dictatorship over in a country of people, right, because of the money of drug trade. It's the money that God's chosen people, America, Russia, China, why they want to be there to begin with. Yeah. It's the oil. So as much as I want to believe you, and you say it in such a politically great and profound way that it's believable, at a certain point, I need to remind myself that the only reason Maduro is able to carry out what he did was from the trade of oil, which is still remains and is what makes it valuable.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the oil, because right before we did the show, I saw Trump came out and announced that we're going to be getting 30 to 50 million barrels of oil from Venezuela through this entire thing. And there's no mention of drug usage going down in this country. So to piggyback off your point, it's
great.
Again, we are, for Venezuelans, I'm sure the drug aspect of it is way more impactful than it truly is here. Sure, there is some impact, obviously, if they're bringing drugs into the country, but to get it muddled and fog over the entire conversation of, okay, it's literally the 6th. This happened on the 3rd. 30 to 50 million barrels are coming to us. Don't kid yourself. If there was 300 billion barrels in total, where are the other barrels going? Who's getting a piece of that pie? Where's that reserve going to end up? Who's going to be able to really dip their hand into that? The drug thing, sure, there's still going to be drug runners in the streets of Venezuela. Like, I don't see that getting cleaned up right away.
There's an interesting point made by Brad Richardson here, because there are two competing problems, and where this dialogue boils down, it boils down to which of these problems is more controlling and more severe. So as Brad Richardson raises in the contrary, China was flowing fentanyl through the Venezuelan pipeline into the USA. And he's saying that the fentanyl they were buying was Venezuelan through their pipeline to the USA to poison them. So yeah, it's not Venezuela, not China, but it's China's. Okay, well, that's getting back to clarifying that drug trade situation, where I made the claim that addressing this issue in Venezuela is not going to stop China's silent attack on America with flooding us with fentanyl. Brad Richardson, on the contrary, is like, whoa, but remember, all the fentanyl that they're flooding through the Mexican border through their pipeline to poison America is Venezuelans.
Right.
There's a strong point to be considered there. I will be eager to see how much of that pipeline, how much of the fentanyl poisoning America is bottlenecked by this move. I mean, you really eat your words when the faucet's completely turned off. It's like, well, shit, I guess it all was Venezuela,
And it
or at
could very
least
well
coming
be.
from. But my position is going to be that I feel as though it probably will remain unimpacted, because the drugs that Venezuela was peddling, at least to my knowledge, weren't solely being made in Venezuela. It was being pipelined, trafficked through Venezuela as kind of the hub.
Right.
So
A nice middleman.
fentanyl, I thought, was being made by China and was being sold through these pipelines. So if China's making it, this has no impact on the source. If Venezuela was getting it from any of the Caribbean countries like Cuba, Colombia, or whatever, those still remain unimpacted. For now, Cuba, watch out. And then you have, if it came from anywhere in Europe or South America, those also remain untouched. So I'm inclined to believe that this pipeline I'm supposed to be, mobilized to support this with, I imagine is going to remain untouched. But most importantly, and the crux of my point, why I feel as though the oil situation is the most controlling and demands the most consideration, because I think it is what's steering the consideration in our global arena. You brought up earlier why China was even there, which is China was literally there to negotiate oil considerations, because they've got their little checkers board almost set up to take over the oil trade. They were pretty close, but this is a damning blow.
This would have been their Taiwan if they had.
Well,
Venezuela.
but really, you're playing the game of risk. The risk, like the board game, but instead of it being military people moving, it's consider it as oil trade. And your oil trade almost dominated the whole, or 50-50. You're at a 50-50 split, and you almost got a controlling dominance of this oil trade. If you could kill the petrodollar, everything changes. Everything changes. And especially we go back to, you want to know what the Great Depression was? That changes our American day-to-day to the nth degree.
That's why it's very hard for me to really condemn this move, because if they know more than us, I want to believe if they truly felt like this was a big play for that and just swooped in and out like we were, like nothing happened, just to kind of ensure that isn't the case. I mean, it's strategically, it's a genius move.
No, exactly.
Like strategically.
It's so to, give some kudos and credits to the internet sleuths that have their ear to the ground, that I do think might have a little bit better take or understanding of the world than these expats were left to blindly believe.
I wonder what he thinks about all this shit.
I could care less.
Probably loves it.
I'd debate him. You know what?
He probably loves it.
Big Brother told him to love it.
That's
so
what I mean.
he loves it.
He loves it.
His British Prime
He probably
Minister
tweeted
also
at
loves
Dave
it.
Smith, because I saw Dave was kind of, I don't know about this. And he probably tweeted at him.
Probably. So if I'm going to go to anybody to forecast and diagnose what's going on here, I love seeing when one of my tinfoil hat psychos gets vindicated. Here's Kurt Metzger calling this a year ago.
The next war for us is going to be Venezuela. You know that?
It's not.
You think it's going to be Venezuela?
Not even.
Well, because all that drug horse shit. Do you think that's like the bad guy that's bringing the drugs in has been Venezuela the whole time? How many countries are between
No, they're one little.
So
smudge.
we're blowing up boats with suspected. Why don't you say you knew they were drug dealers for sure?
Yeah, dude. That's what I was picturing.
Don't
in
say
my head.
suspected, because that feels like you just blown people up. They want to overthrow that guy, so they're gonna fucking do it. So all the shit that we're supposed to not have anymore with Trump, you're gonna have. You're gonna have John McCain no matter what you do.
In my mind,
I love that point. You're going to have John McCain no matter what you do.
That's an amazing quote. That's really an amazing quote.
What were you going to say, Doug?
no, in my mind, I feel like the Tom Clancy Jack Ryan show called in 2018. They said Venezuela would be the next hot point for the international community. They called it 2018. That's even before that dude was calling it. TV show called it.
It's true. So while I think you could find some good, some bad, and a silver lining to it all, it shouldn't go unnoticed when the powers that be get serviced in getting exactly what they want. So here's Marco Rubio, tickled pink to tell the American public that he got exactly what he wanted.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be clear about one thing. Nicolas Maduro had multiple opportunities to avoid this. He was provided multiple very, very, very generous offers and chose instead to act like a wild man, chose instead to play around. And the result is what we saw tonight. The other message here is the following. You have a guy, like many people around the world, they like to play games. You have a guy who decides he's going to invite Iran into his country, is going to, do the confiscation of American oil companies, is going to flood our country with gang members, is going to take Americans prisoner and try to hold them for hostage and trade them like he was able to do with the Biden administration. Basically likes to play games all this time and thinks nothing's going to happen. And I hope what people now understand is that we have a president. The 47th president of the United States is not a game player. When he tells you that he's going to do something, when tells you he's going to address a problem, he means it. He actions it. I can tell you, I've watched this process now for 14, 15 years, been around it. Everybody talks. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. When I get there, we're going to do this. We're going to take. This is a president of action. Like, I don't understand yet how they haven't figured this out. And now, if you don't know, now you know. Because this is the way it's going to play out. And I think people need to understand that this is not a president that just talks and does letters and press conferences. And, if he says he's serious about something, he means it. And this is something that was a direct threat to the national interest of the United States. And the president addressed it. There's a president of peace, by the way. I told you what I just said earlier. This guy had multiple opportunities to find his way somewhere else and figure out another. He could have been living somewhere else right now, very happy, but instead he wanted to play big boy. And so now, he's got other sets of problems on his hands. And but I think that the message here should be for the world. Look, the president doesn't go out looking for people to pick fights with. He's not generally wants to get along with everybody. We'll talk and meet with anybody, but don't play games. Don't play games with this president's in office because it's not going to turn out well. And so I hope that, I guess that lesson was learned last night, and we hope it'll be instructive moving forward.
It is great hearing how the rest of the world takes to this, because the rest of the world always seems to have a different impression than my own. Here are two women, female conservative podcasters. Couldn't be more psyched for Marco. Chicks on the right, chicks on right. They
People who are like, can we just not get involved
I was
in
not
more?
expecting them to be like that.
What else were you expecting?
I thought
this is exactly what you should expect.
I just didn't expect them to be that old. I thought they were going to be younger.
Yeah.
When I said chicks on the right, I was thinking,
nope, you don't get.
I didn't expect two.
Brett Cooper doesn't do this type of take.
They have a book club together too. With
1,000%. But Candace Owens also has a book club.
I'm sorry, I was not expecting. Continue.
Yeah, Karen's.
For people who are like, can we just not get involved in more of these foreign wars? I get where that can sound a little concerning. And Nick Freitas, I thought, did a great job explaining the angst. So he said, I say this with all due respect to Donald Trump, when I thought this was a limited strike to go after Maduro, I was willing to defend it. But now that we hear we're going to be running Venezuela, I have some concerns because I've lived at the business end of this kind of foreign policy and it didn't work out well. So as a Trump supporter, I just want to know, why are we responsible for ensuring a proper transition takes place? How many troops are we dedicating? What do we consider to be a safe, secure, and independent Venezuela? How much blood and treasure are we willing to dedicate? And on and on. And I get these concerns, but I feel like the best person to answer those concerns is Marco Rubio, who I'm now kind of starting to feel like should be the next president.
100%.
Really? Okay, good. I'm so glad you think that.
100%. In fact, I am like, I know that like the TP USA people are all about JD Vance, and I love JD Vance. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, I bet you do.
Those TP USA people can be pretty kooky.
Sheer experience. He has to be the guy. He's done the work. He's put in the time. He's been there forever.
Bro's got ears, and once you see him, you can't unsee him. Bro's got ears.
I had this conversation with my daughter-in-law over break. And
wait, Well,
but
I mean,
JD Vance
No,
is supposed to be the
I
guy,
noticed
like,
him after you said it.
I don't give a shit. Marco Rubio he's done the work. Like, he actually has been in there in the trenches. He understands how to do all of these different jobs. He should be the guy.
you thought you noticed the ears, you didn't.
I
Watch
want to be
again
clear
with
about
this
one
one.
thing. Nicholas.
Dude, he gets Sirius XM on them things. He gets a highway frequency. Here's a dog whistle from a mile away.
Mr. President, he is literally in the living room of his presidential office.
Trump probably
Now is the time to strike.
Trump gets pissed at him and grabs him by the ear.
Marco.
Probably flicks that beef jerky.
Flicks that beef jerky. Look at that jerky. Those are some lobes.
You know what he's? Hey, can you hear me? Yes.
And some. So your thoughts on women on the right, or right?
Who's watching that? Who's listening to that? As I'm on a show where I'm
Ladies, couldn't we be more excited? I think he should be president.
I think that guy should be president. Good for them.
It's hilarious because that is what the Republican base has become. It's so
100%.
shallow and lacking. So, okay, we need to start closing this plane.
You want to know people in that room I think should run? Is freaking Hegseth. I may not agree with him, but at least I know it's like, yeah, he actually does know how to get something done. You may not like what he's getting done, but in terms of the military stuff, they put that guy in charge. Goes really smooth. That's all I'm going to say. It is shocking.
Fair. So kind of bringing this whole thing to a close, and then we can give our wrapping thoughts.
Sure.
I've got, just to kind of corroborate one last element of the story that we haven't really touched first. I brought up the white liberal women that are at a fascist rally supporting a dictator.
Cool.
That sounds hyperbolic and that sounds cartoonish. So I feel compelled. It's a necessity. I must show you it in real time so you could see, like, not real time, but you could see this. It's not live, but you could see this.
It probably is live.
And yeah, you never know. Anyway.
Can I ask about that sign? Why do you want a dictator to live?
Yeah, I thought you guys said no kings. Now you want a king.
Long live Maduro.
You don't have to engage with them. No, I'm saying he's a dictator, and you guys are saying long live a dictator. I'm really curious.
I don't know. They gave me this stick.
Do you think they'd have signs with the guy with the mustache?
What do you mean?
You're living up to all
Dictator
the
with
memes
the
right
mustache. You think?
Oh.
We knew we'd find a pro Maduro.
Like at that time?
Yeah, I feel like we captured him.
I don't even know how far the printing press was. It was far enough that they had newspapers, but come on now.
I'm saying, all right, instead of back then, how about now? If an individual
They are.
like that,
That's why they protest Trump. What are you missing?
You're right.
What are you missing?
I am sorry. I'm sorry. I probably, you know what? You're right. I set myself up for that.
But on balance with needing to listen to the white women liberal lemmings that just follow the guide of the person that hands them the sign, those videos are counterbalanced by hundreds. It's so easy to find of Venezuelans that have an opinion, and all of them are only within the positive. So where I struggle to get excited, the thing that also kind of commands my position is the fact that I have been incapable of finding a real Venezuelan, not a white liberal woman or someone here lost in the American delusion, Trump derangement syndrome,
right? But
someone that truly is invested in this situation that is upset. The weird thing is 100% of them have been excited. So to give you a piece of that.
Stupid because they don't know what's going on in Venezuela. They don't from Venezuela.
We are outside the federal detention center in Brooklyn where Venezuela's Nicolás Maduro and his wife Celia Flores are being held. And we are seeing dozens of people right outside chanting no bombing Venezuela and no war on Venezuela, demanding the U.S. to release the couple immediately.
I think President Maduro should be returned to Venezuela. And
You tell him, girl.
Nose
piercing.
So far, I have not seen any Venezuelan nationals in this protest. On the other hand, Venezuelans in the community here in New York City are celebrating the capture of Nicolás Maduro.
There's your mustache.
Maduro go back to Venezuela.
He has to stay here. If they are not from Venezuela, they really don't know what happened in Venezuela.
Nicolas Maduro and his wife spent the night inside of
Woo-hoo!
this
Like
federal
they just
detention
won a
center in
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn while they await to see a federal
Really
judge
makes you wonder
to
if
be
they're gonna pay
formally arraigned on narco-terrorism charges, and that could happen as soon as Monday.
That's a true consideration.
It is funny because you mentioned it. It's something true even at the initial moment I didn't consider. I just was more impressed with the feat itself and then thinking of the ramifications afterwards, which then when I saw the actual Venezuelan people celebrating, I'm then thinking in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's an actual oppressed country with real people living through actual oppression from a socialist fascist dictator.
So speaking of socialism, I just want to point out for educational purposes, causation, correlation, you be the judge. But if we were to wind the clock back to 1960 Venezuela, prior to them becoming a communist country, curious how this works, but here is, you want to see boots on the ground. This is window in time. Here's Venezuela before what the Democrats demand, the good old communism. This is a starving country fighting over chicken bones now.
Yeah, it really is a shame to see.
I'd visit that place too.
Oh, really? That's Cleveland.
Yeah, I know.
That's
honestly.
literally Chicago.
And that's the thing. That's like the root cause for me to be upset about all this, is knowing that we are a liberator as a country in a certain light. Now, the ramifications is something actually going positively be done to the country after this? I don't know. But in the moment, the people, the Venezuelan people, are envisioning a future where this is a possibility now.
Right.
And it wasn't like that 3-4 days ago. To then just have someone with a bull ring in this country saying, you're
supposed to be mad.
Not only you're supposed to be mad, but you need to free the man and send him back.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Absolutely bizarre. And also in the same token, they were cheering for Trump to literally be arrested, perp walked, and thrown in jail. But it isn't, you get what I mean?
But again, these are the same people that have been beating us over the head for 100 years. You got to hate all white people because they are the reason for slaves. But then again, you called us, we're the great liberator. Nobody wants to give the flowers where they're due, which is for 3,000 years, humans owned other humans. Slaves dominated the world. Slavery, the practice of, dominated the world for well over 2,000-3,000 years.
Still do.
Who do we think? And who was the first series of humans to liberate slaves? It's the only group of people still being berated for ever having slaves in a world where more than 50% of the world still involves themselves in slavery.
Yeah. So, I mean, in one weekend, I did see my country liberate another country in the span of 3 hours. Yeah. It's an incredible feat. The ramifications we talk about afterwards, completely valid. The reasons that they're protesting, completely invalid. Absolutely missing the point. They should be mocked. I'm honestly shocked you do not have the Hassan clip ready, because Hassan went on his stream after zapping his dog, essentially saying to Venezuelans, you're all idiots for cheering for this.
Yes.
It is really weird to see that in real time. Which, by the way, he was in China, was handed the little red book and thought that was
the greatest
communism thing he's ever been given in life. And to answer your question, Doug, the pyramids were built by aliens. Okay, let's think logically for a second.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but
I saw Marty
you
Supreme. I know the
mentioned
truth.
It is crazy to literally overnight, within the span of a few hours, this happened, because in our lifetime, we remember Iraq and Afghanistan, and we were still there until a couple of years ago.
I think that intentionally took decades.
So it's like it
that
went
was purposely
from
done.
2 invasions of Iraq to get rid of one guy to 3 hours, and we got the guy.
Well, that's the thing. You say how close he was to actually locking the door. It's probably in his underwear. It's probably in his tidy whities, like Bryan Cranston from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yelling at Brian, like, Brian, do the thing. Come on, do the thing. Do the thing. They got me. And then he's standing there just like, I plead to not guilty.
He's standing there with his little water bottle that is Sunglasses on.
So, Doug, Will, any other wrapping thoughts before we close out the topic?
No, this one was fun.
Yeah.
This one was fun.
What a doozy. So when the dust settles, this moment forces an uncomfortable but necessary question. What does victory even look like anymore? Yes, a dictator was removed. Yes, people who lived under real oppression feel a sense of relief. That matters, and it should not be minimized. But at the same time, the American public isn't wrong to feel conflicted, because power without trust doesn't inspire confidence. It breeds suspicion. This administration flexed American muscle abroad, while many at home feel unheard, overtaxed, and misled. And when that happens, even actions that might otherwise unite the country land flat. You don't get credit for doing the right thing overseas when people believe you've abandoned the contract at home. The irony is brutal. A genuine act of liberation for Venezuelans collides with an American electorate that no longer believes its leaders act in their interest. So instead of celebration, we get confusion. Instead of unity, we get fractured reactions where dictators are defended by people chanting against fascism, and military success feels hollow. This isn't a debate about whether Maduro deserved to go. History already answered that. This is about credibility, about priorities, about a country exhausted by being told to care deeply about everywhere else while being told to be patient about its own problems at home. And until leadership reconnects action abroad with honesty and accountability at home, moments like this will keep happening. Dramatic, historic, and strangely unsatisfying. Now let's get to a topic I couldn't be more excited for. This one I've truly been eager to get to.
This topic is so thankful for the first topic because it actually made it quieter in the grand scheme of things.
Yes. Always remember, on the world stage, those things don't tend to be coincidences. But today we'll pretend it is.
Honestly, in this case, I think it was.
It definitely was.
A mission that was planned out
Macron
for 8
did not
months.
know that was coming.
No, a mission planned for 8 months. All of a sudden, Trump heard what actually happened on the other side of the world. Oh. I'm sure I'll get a phone call.
All right, so let's talk about Brigitte Macron. Oof.
Is it Brigitte or Bradley?
She's gonna. It's Brigitte.
Okay.
That was. I know you were serious, so it's definitely Brigitte. It definitely is not Jean-Michel Trogneau, her brother. That would be these two people are not this. They are the same. These two people are the same. Jean-Michel Trogneau, Brigitte Macron. Same human being. And until you prove otherwise, I'm allowed to espouse that. Let's get into the topic. Oh, wait. First, I need to get rid of Jean-Michel Trogneau. Get those hot legs back on here. Woo! All right. On January 5th, 2026, a Paris court handed down convictions to 10 individuals for cyberbullying France's First Lady, Brigitte Macron. The case centered around online claims alleging she was transgender and clear proof that the age gap between her and her husband, President Emmanuel Macron, were predatory in nature. Brigitte being Emmanuel's 40-year-old grade school teacher when he was 14. The convictions brought through France's exclusive cyberbullying laws. I say exclusive because they're only in France. No one else is this dumb.
Okay.
The punishments were not symbolic. One defendant received a 6-month prison sentence that may be served under strict conditions like house arrest or electronic monitoring. 8 others received suspended sentences ranging from 4 to 8 months. All 10 were ordered into cyberbullying awareness programs. Some were banned from the X platform for 6 months. And collectively, they were ordered to pay roughly 10,000 euros in damages. So not too bad. France is sending a clear message. The internet is not a consequence-free zone. But here's where the real conversation begins. Because the law may have ruled, but the science of philosophy does not shift so easily. There is a universal principle governing free societies that predates France, predates social media, and frankly, predates modern courts altogether. Truth can never be illegal. Jean Locke argued that the legitimacy of the state rests on protecting natural rights, foremost among them, the free pursuit and expression of truth, because truth liberates individuals and in doing so maximizes happiness for the greatest number. A society that punishes truth does not protect people, it protects power. John Stuart Mill took this further, warning that silencing even false opinions is dangerous because only through open challenge does truth sharpen itself. If something is true, it must be allowed to stand. If something is false, it must be defeated with evidence, not force. And that is the line that matters here. If statements are false, provably false, and knowingly spread to cause harm, then punishment can be justified. Not because feelings were hurt, but because deception corrodes the public good. But the standard must remain absolute. The burden is on power to prove falsity, not on citizens to protect reputations. Truth is not democratic. It does not care about status, office, or sensitivity. It transcends individuals, and that is precisely why we must defend this at all cost. Once the state begins punishing speech based on injury rather than falsity, the law no longer protects truth, it protects comfort, and comfort has never been the foundation of liberty. So this case isn't just about cyberbullying or the First Lady of France. It's about whether modern democracies still believe that truth is something to be tested in the open or something to be regulated behind closed doors. Because once truth becomes conditional, freedom always follows it into the courtroom. So this is a peculiar situation because an alien gets to look at us and say, you hurt my feelings for telling the truth with no obligation to have to defend the truth.
Sorry.
This isn't an original idea. This came straight from Candace Owens.
That's fine.
That's been the long running bit.
I didn't see it. I'm just thinking.
I know. That's why I got to give credit where credit's due.
I'm just saying. She looks at her. She slaps her husband with all fingers glow.
With those giant talons.
Uh-huh.
We could have been really cool.
Could you
with
put
this.
up the long-legged photo of her again? She looks like Charlotte's Web.
Why?
Just long-legged and soul-sucking.
And no skin on those bones.
Not a thing. Thin as can be.
Really a robust woman.
Actually, I'm sorry. Charlotte's Web is too rude for her. That's Jack Skellington.
Those are not the same film. That's why
I wasn't looking for the same film. I was looking for the same Jack. Sorry.
Will.
Doug got it.
I mean, I got it.
I got it. It's just that you were a little off.
No, I wasn't going for like same in the film. I was just going for like long, tan, and handsome, I guess.
So the conversation is this. You've got a situation where a claim is being made. And I guess more than anything, I can sit here in a conviction knowing I am persuaded and convinced that this boy is this man. They're the same being. How can I say that so confidently? I have done the homework, and this isn't to bolster someone that has kind of lost my confidence in the last month and a half. But Candace Owens has her swings and her misses, and one where she really delivered on is the entire Brigitte Macron story. Everywhere the media has tried to create a narrative where she is lying and proven in the court of public opinion to be wrong, that's entirely fabricated. Where they go after these folks is not for saying a lie. They're not going for defamation, and they're not going for libel. They're going for, my feelings were hurt. an entirely subjective standard that nobody can police or measure. It's no. I'm telling you, my feelings were hurt.
While smiling.
Go get them.
While smiling.
Go get them. My feelings were hurt.
Makes it funnier.
No. Go get them. My feelings were hurt. I want you to picture me saying that with Erica Kirk, just explosions behind me, just streamers. I'm in pain.
It's, I got to give us credit. We find topics where, sure, it's a little controversial in our own country, but there's something semi-proud about our country with the first topic. And then it goes to something in Europe where we're just watching over here going, what is going on over there?
We're not that.
Yes, it's like, first topic. Sure, I have my stipulations. Some things to be proud of over there. It sounds awful, dude. It sounds horrible. I want to know what they tweeted. I want to know what they made him go to cyberbullying awareness. They're going to give him like a chip, like AA.
That's insane. What were you going to say, Doug?
Dude, my question is, if I go, it's creepy as hell that they are 25 years apart, Macron and his wife. Are they going to send me to cyberbullying for speaking the truth?
Yeah, dude.
That 25-year difference
Damn
is
it, Doug, how dare
hell.
You're noticing the great noticing.
No.
Put him in jail.
Wait, everybody. I want to put some icing on the cake here. She was a teacher at their high school.
He was a teacher at his high school. What are we doing here? Quit the charade. Because here's the deal. For me to be legally bound by the fact that that's a false statement, you have to prove it's false, drop the trowel, or live with it. There's no middle ground. You either live with it or prove truth. You can't go, trust me, bro, and be a bro.
Just real talk. You've done more of the homework than me, so you'll be able to answer this
Well, I will
question.
happily.
Yeah, okay.
I will happily.
So could you pull up the photo of him and her?
Yep, but
Or
they're right
he-
there. Oh,
he,
nope.
Him and Han.
Him as a child and him running the country.
Good, thanks for putting up him and Han. All right. So no twins. Like no, not like, there's no, was there another sibling?
Well,
you like again.
Here is the sticky wicket. A little bit of sticky wicket is.
I don't think you're allowed to call it that.
Yeah, that's offensive for the tucked wicket getting
real
all
quick,
sticky and
Alex,
moist up there.
It's convenient.
Untuck the sticky wicket.
It's convenient that in these two pictures here, so that it's been shown that like earlobes can be just as identifiable
that's been getting them.
as fingerprints now. It's
Dude,
been
Rubio's
shown
fucked.
that earlobes are pretty unique per person. We can't tell.
It's my sister Marquette. So I do want to address. You're like, there's no twin. There's
I'm just
no.
saying. I'm just going to
Well,
ask the devil's advocate question.
Back to the sticky wicket.
Right.
It does linger.
That's
The
why we're
sticky
here.
wicket of the situation is there's a missing sibling.
Okay.
Because Brigitte Macron goes, I got a brother. And everybody's like, no, you're not. You're the brother. You became the sister.
How the hell did that happen?
Everybody wants to know where the sister is. And she's like, no. I'm the sister. Okay, where's your brother? And there's the sticky wicket. No. Trust me, he existed at a point. Sure. Can I meet him? Trust me, bro. I want to see his sticky wicket.
I feel like the fact that this isn't a thing. And
It's a thing. The thing is there. It's tucked deep. It's a big thing.
And that's the thing.
It's the thing.
The fact that there is a metaphorical and a literal thing throughout this entire situation.
Dude, Gladiator, you were late. You missed it all. We know. Speaking facts.
I'm late.
Now,
She was
here's the killer. The killer is that's a crime in France, and you just cyberbullied the first lady man of Taiwan, of France.
It's just the idea of being This should be the easiest thing to move past.
Dude, here's the deal.
You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. Everybody, Candace, she's the devil. She's messed us all up. She's wrong. She's spreading misinformation. Somebody needs to take her out. And I just sit here and I go, you guys don't get how good you got it. She's so much easier to service than me. She's like, just please. This is her standard. Candace, the evil standard that cannot be serviced. I just want to see a picture of you pregnant or as a kid of you pregnant or as a kid, and that I can evaluate it's correct. Like I need to be able to like investigate it, but I'll take a picture. That's enough to service her. I want a mutual agreement, a person, doctor, go in a back room, drop trowel. I got to be able to trust him. Dr. Doug is going to come back and go, listen, I can attest to, it's just a really big clip. No, I want somebody to go back. It's not really, I don't even need that. That's all comical. I'm being a cartoon. I want a prick of your finger. I want a piece of your hair, a prick of your finger, spit in this tube. I want your DNA. Because that's the one thing you can't put plastic in or suck back. You can't shave the chin off of your DNA structure. Let me see the chromosome composition, and I'll shut up and go back to my hole. In fact, all of us will happily pay you for the memes. You got us. Did I do the joke? Give her the 10 grand. I made the joke. Turns out, no pickle.
It is crazy how much ET does look like.
Dude, this picture nailed it. She has, really Candace has dominated this topic with this picture. Because every human, once you get it, you'll never unsee this thing. Look at that wig. The bowl?
The nose. No. It's the nose.
It is the nose that was formed with a plastic or with a knife. The syringe that created this nose is the same that did it for Steven Spielberg's makeup department.
That's a puppet.
That's a puppet. So is this. And again, it's nice. We're talking about your chromosomes. We're talking about your chromosomes. We're talking about your chromosomes.
I know. I don't have enough.
Look over here. Look over here. But totally ignore the fact that I was 40 years old sleeping with my 14-year-old student.
Yeah, we've been
allegedly. It's not alleged.
We've been too rough on Leonardo DiCaprio.
Boy, have we. It takes perspective.
Yeah, boy, does
you need perspective to go, well, it could be worse.
Well, no. You know what is worse? Woody Allen and his wife, child. That's pretty bad.
Yeah,
That's another one. Yeah. And crazy enough, they all run the same circles.
Yeah, but the difference is Woody Allen is a man. Okay. Brigitte claims to not be a man.
Yeah, but
we're in a situation like
you don't think that like father-daughter scenario raises Woody Allen's anymore. I think that's creepier than
I don't know. Woody Allen made some films. She runs a country.
Yeah.
Like I know. I think it is.
And so let's get back to that. It's greater than just a couple YouTubers throwing out some claims.
Yeah.
It is bound by a reality of facts.
Yeah.
And they go unsubstantiated. They go unaddressed. You have to go after me for being mean. I've hurt your feelings in cyberbullying because what you can't attack are the facts. You cannot prove libel or defamation because to do so, you'd have to prove that not only they were wrong, but it was done intentfully to deceive the public, which again, Candace isn't doing that. This isn't to deceive. She's running an investigation. This is the closest we have to the truth. And so again, let's get back to the point I am trying to make. I keep getting off the rails. There is 25 hours of proving to you this is the fact. Interviews, freedom of information released, documents. Brigitte screwed up once and said, I was in America for the moon landing. And then people were like, we have no record of you being this female thing being in America during the moon landing. But your brother was.
It's beautiful when people get older and they forget little details they're not supposed to give out. Like just willy-nilly. Like she was so, like literally the photo on the right looks like he was at the moon landing.
Yes, he was. That guy was.
Let's be honest, too. Back then, like you weren't thinking about a database or records being
like
yes,
you had no idea.
Well, what's funny is that Doug's nailed the point. what Candace is pulling is such deep archive, like origin of computer type
PSA
databases.
records from back in
Yes,
the day.
like literally the first time we were taking them with a keyboard and not a chiseled stone, she's like, look, what the hell? You sued a fishing boat when you were you were in America? Like that, the dude was, the homeboy over here was interning with some fishing boats, and their crew got in a little scuffle with another fishing boat, and there was a police report. Time-stamped. Oh, shit. So what I'm getting at is, this is what I implore. I beg of you, the public. I beg of you, the public, to either endure the grueling, annoying task of doing all the homework, listen to the position that's presented, articulating the fact that this is a man. And even if it isn't, it's a pervert. When you go through the entire display, as my own personal judge of my understanding of the world, I see it as no other way. It couldn't be clearer. And then Candace is like, and you know what? They're pissing me off, and I've got a whole nother 25 hours worth. I'm going to do a chapter 2. And then, like, the first day, her friend's neck gets blown out, and she's like, I'm going to put a pin back in that. And I'm going to figure out what's going on over here. But don't forget, so she's sitting on a well of even more. The fact that I could sit here and say, with what's presented, I am satisfied. Beyond belief, I know. I have no qualms with, if I had to go into a courtroom going, this was inflammatory. Your podcast, 1st of 2026. Look at this, January 6th. You almost stormed the Capitol. Instead, you talked about Brigitte Macron's cock. I'd be like, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's go to court. I'm willing to stand on business with this. This is a fact. And now, getting back to the point, if you're not willing to do that, because I get it, we've all got it's not even a part of your interest. This is my Super Bowl. You've got your anime, like everybody. This is my One Piece.
This really is his One Piece.
If you're not willing to put in all those hours, the only thing I ask of is to reserve your judgment in its viability. Because if you're not willing to actually go through it all and be like, yeah, this seems like a little, weak, but this is pretty, but I believe it. Or, it just wasn't enough to compel me. If you did the work and you come out the other end going, these two are not the same people, then you know what? I implore you not only to hold that opinion, but to defend it, and please let it become a controlling factor in the free marketplace of ideas. But like my dad, don't let Fox News tell you Candace is a bad guy, therefore these are all false facts. Don't let somebody else regurgitate and digest this situation for you. You either do the homework or acknowledge and audibly express, I am not in a position to evaluate this situation. Because what we're dealing with is the masses. None of them have even played with this information. There's a lot to wrestle with, a lot to debate, a lot to believe and fight against. But if you haven't touched any of it and you're going to sit in a conviction, you're part of the problem. So that's the only thing I get at is the thing we're up against is the controlling opinion. None of them have actually listened to it. Because if you did and you were like, this is bullshit, then you've got a strong position.
I do love that I live in a timeline where my Super Bowl is One Piece and yours is Brigitte Macron's penis. It is a beautiful world. And I think the passion that you have for it, dude, I'm telling you, I've listened to him have multiple conversations off the show about it, to the point where I believe it. That sells me on it so much more than I actually wish it did, because she's a weird looking woman. If she is truly a woman, woof. Like Jesus, you married that.
Hey, we can't leave this topic without listening to her. This is her going on their Today Show.
Is this their The View?
She couldn't be more psyched. Girls, get a look at this. We humbled them. I got 10 people convicted in my country for bullying me. They hurt my feelings, and we got them. Now, this is going to be a bit of a sticky wicket. A lot of them being flung around here.
They're all sitting cross-legged, and she's sitting back like, I got him.
These, I wish I had them on lock. The fact that every position pose of her sitting is just her just like mansplaining.
With a frickin' with you.
I'm a lady.
Well, you know what? Alexander does a great impression of someone with dip in their mouth, and he was the best at it as a child. And I just imagine Brigitte doing that, and it's perfect.
So, one of the sticky wickets, additional one that we're throwing around here is that, we've got a huge demographic of Serbians that listen to this episode after we put it on streaming platforms. So for the folks that are listening,
yes,
I don't know what we should do, because I can either read over it. I'm going to read over it, because even her listening to it in French is just.
Du procès concernant la rumeur, laissons penser, prétendons.
Let me read it for the folks. The lady's interviewing her. A word about the process concerning
concernant la rumeur,
the rumor that alleges that you are a man.
Prétendons que vous êtes un homme. Le jugement sera rendu.
There will be. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry, I had that audio too loud.
Do you want me to be Brigitte?
No, I want to be Brigitte.
Okay.
You be the blonde chick.
Okay. Wait,
right.
go to the beginning. Right.
A
word about the process concerning the rumor that alleges that you are a man. There will be a decision tomorrow by the Tribunal Correctional de Paris. What is your state of mind?
It's moving quick.
It is. They started talking. They wanted to fly through this thing. She started talking. She was like, "ET phone home."
Well, it is funny that their subtitles are French, because French is like, oh yeah, it's like Spanish.
When it did the Pariti thing, I was like, whoa.
Tomorrow, it is about harassment, online harassment. After this, I have another one against the bitch Candace Owen. No, sorry, I shouldn't say that. The two women who are tinkering with my genealogy, alleging that I am a man. We're not tinkering, bitch. Just pluck your finger. The fact that this is the easiest thing to prove, it's not like, okay, you're Johnny Manziel, and you're like, trust me, I'm rich, not because I'm selling thousands of my autograph. I'm rich because my uncle is a giant oiler from Texas. Can you prove this lie? Oh shit, now I got to conjure up an uncle, and I got to conjure up an oil empire. Like, bro, all you have to do is pluck your finger.
Literally, dude, watch one episode of Landman. He was like, son of a bitch, I got to do it.
Give me a strand of hair. That's a wig. And I don't know what the pig was.
Give me a strand of hair as you grab it and it comes with you.
Yeah. So, sacre bleu. Either I was born a man, or I was born Brigitte died in 1960. And it's my brother who I have become a woman. Useless to say that no one will tamper with the genealogy. That is something impossible. A birth certificate is not is what? No trifle. Yeah, you can't trifle with birth certificate.
Okay.
You can't print those. I don't know a guy. I'm not the head of France.
I'm not the leader.
I'm not the third leading intelligence agency in the world. We couldn't fake a birth certificate to save our life.
Couldn't foster this document.
You can't trifle with that shit. Third greatest intelligence agency in the world. You can't trifle with that. That shit is sacred.
Immediately grabs a birth certificate. Bitch, this is fake. I'm not buying it.
Yeah. It is a dad one day, or a mom the other, who declares his or her child. You don't. What the fuck is she?
Fucking French is fast.
It's just, she's saying words that obviously are unisex. So she's saying I'm being dead fucking serious, dude. I'm not meaning to make a joke. She said a word that both men, you could be either guy or girl in one sense. That's why there was
trans people in Spain and in French are just like these gender-dominated languages. It's so imprisoning.
Oh, that's 100%. That's why I threw you through, because you were like, it was like he, she, and you're like, wait, that's not what she goes by.
The patriarch is at her again.
So that was actually fun to watch you try to work your way through.
Oh, this is the most exciting.
Okay.
After that, I have the US case. And in the meantime, I have people who have intruded into my website, my text number. Let's move it quick. And modified the identity. Yeah, sure. Prove it. And I'm struggling constantly. I want to help teenagers to fight against harassment.
Dude, keep this woman away from teenagers.
Please.
She's gonna marry
She
him.
literally licked the last one. You're mine. I'm gonna make you president.
I'm gonna make you. I see potential in you.
The Midas touch. And here we are again.
Oh my God. It's just, this is, God, I don't know which topic I like more, the last or this one.
Yep. Jean-Michel Trogno.
There she is. Oh my God.
Okay,
Nice.
let's land the plane.
Sure.
Dealing with the fact that
Sure.
I think we all can agree.
That's a man. Yes.
I guess we'll end it
that's
there.
the wrap. That's wrap.
I'm sorry, my rapid thoughts. My bad, dude.
The reality is you can't let truth be the victim here. So no matter what feelings, even if we had the loss of a life, this should never truth and its virtue should never transcend the value of people, individuals, countries. Truth is the virtue that protects all. That's the virtue we should be seeking. So, closing out the topic, at the end of all of this, the question is not whether speech is offensive, disruptive, or emotionally damaging. Those things have never been the standard in free societies. The question, the only question that matters, is whether the statements in dispute are false. Truth is not something that the state gets to negotiate around feelings, reputations, or political convenience. Truth exists independent of power, office, and social standing. That principle is older than France, older than modern courts, and older than any digital platform where these ideas were debated. It is the foundation of liberty itself. If Brigitte Macron, or anyone for that matter, claims injury from public statements, the moral burden rests entirely on proving those statements false beyond a reasonable doubt. Not through intimidation, not through punishment, not through precedent setting fear, but through evidence. Because without that burden, truth becomes conditional, and conditional truth is no longer truth at all. John Locke understood this plainly. The state exists to protect the natural rights of the people, not to insulate individuals from scrutiny. John Stuart Mill warned that suppressing claims rather than refuting them does not protect society, it weakens it. When speech is punished without falsity being conclusively demonstrated, the state ceases to defend truth and begins to manage perception. And once perception replaces truth, freedom becomes an illusion. If the claims are false, they should collapse under proof. If they cannot be disproven, then no amount of outrage, authority, or judicial force can justify punishment, morally or logically. A society that criminalizes unresolved questions is not defending dignity. It is admitting fragility. The truth does not need courts to survive. Lies do. And the moment a government decides that people can be punished simply for saying the wrong thing rather than saying a false thing, it has already abandoned the very principle that gives it legitimacy. That is what is truly on trial here. All right, guys, I got to ask you, we don't have Ricky. Do we want to save down the wiki hole? Or do you guys think you're up for it for the two
I
of you?
was thinking it would be pretty tough with just Will and I.
Well, yeah,
we
you
could give it a
would
go.
almost need like more slides in order to give us more opportunities to kind of
that's
ask
something
questions.
we should almost have lined up, Alex, is like in case Ricky
That is a good call.
isn't
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Add like 3 extra slides because you got to think. Well, I'm trying to think.
If we
you would
do-
almost have to add enough. Well, there's 4 slides right before you get to the final one. So 4 interviews a question. You'd almost, if it's only going to be 2 people, you'd almost have to add at least 2 to 3 more so you could get those extra 2 to 3 questions in. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Therefore, as much as I would have liked to have the game piggyback off of today's
We
episode,
could try, man. I mean,
I
do
mean-
you think we'd get it? You know what it is.
Well,
Like, do you have faith?
Do you know what the answer is?
No,
Doug,
like,
I literally never have faith in you playing this
Could
game.
you let me know what the answer
Yeah.
is?
Doug,
No,
I love
but
you.
more
I have no
like,
faith
would
in you
we
in this
get it?
game.
Would
I'd
we
say
get
we
it?
postpone.
I
I'd say
agree.
we
I agree.
postpone.
We had Ricky lined up for today's episode. Obviously, something
I
had
could
occurred.
already see how the first would go. Are they alive? Next question. Is he near Texas?
No. Will, if you ask, are they alive? My next question would be,
Are they dead?
male or female? See, like, there's
he's
our
learning.
two right
He's
there.
learning. I don't think he is. All right. Well, I appreciate that fact. And just know that we have a really juicy down the wiki hole game plan for you the next time we got the full squad in today's episode. So we appreciate everybody. Gladiator, Brad Richardson, Bombs, and everybody else that jumped into the comments there to add another dynamic to the show. The whole purpose of the live show is to get you involved. We don't want to just be stuck in our little echo chamber. We want to have you give the ability to, steer our conversation, bring some perspective, and liberate us from those echo chambers. With that being said, I'm so disappointed I don't have Ricky here to promote himself, because I do have a archived episode from a few months ago for the podcast, the Rethink Tank podcast, that you can anticipate coming out Thursday. We had a really good time when Ricky was in town. So there's an episode where I actually had Ricky in the studio and we did a podcast. That's coming out because we have a whole new season of the podcast coming out. I have a lot of exciting episodes. I'm bigger things coming your way. So look forward to it. But we have our live show here on this channel, but then we also have the reactions channel where we have our Sunday football review, and preceding that on Sundays, we also have our reactions channel where you can get a little bit of a laugh and get a break from the social and political chaos. So if you're looking for one central place where you could find all of that, you could go to our website at www.rethinktankpodcast.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, because that's how you make sure. And don't forget that notification bell, so that way you don't miss a new episode as they come out. But we're here each week. We appreciate you joining us live. The whole purpose of the live show is for your involvement, and therefore we'll see you next week. Peace.